While the Milwaukee Bucks have had their ups and downs this season, two players have broken out into the national discussion for the All-Star team. We've already gotten a healthy dose of Giannis so far, especially his Euro stepping from the top of the key, but the second best player on the Bucks deserves some recognition for what he's doing almost in spite of how Jason Kidd's offense is executed. While the Bucks' record is only one game above 500, their net rating ranks them 8th in the league, amongst teams that have significantly higher winning percentages. Even though their offense is ranked 8th in the NBA, when going through a ton of Jabari's possessions, it's clear to me that their system is holding him back from even greater numbers than he already has. Before I show you how Parker is getting it done on the court, I just want to remind you of our great friends over at SeatGeek, who have the best app to buy tickets to sporting events and concerts. It's really easy to use, gives you a picture from the vantage point of the seat, and finds the best prices anywhere. Make me look good by using my code BBall and save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek is the only place you ever need to look for tickets. You're absolutely going to want to see Jabari and Giannis live in a game. Trust me. So get on SeatGeek, find a Bucks game, use my promo code, and get tickets not even the Andersons can get. So let's break out the synergy numbers and see how and where he's attacking from most. By far, the most chances he gets is from the spot up, and he's hovering right around average in terms of efficiency. One of the issues I have with Jason Kidd's offense is how stagnant it is. Far too often, Jabari is stuck in the weak side corner spotting up and spends the entire possession stuck there. For a guy as dynamic and explosive as Parker, he needs the freedom to cut across the court at full speed, come off pin downs, catch dribble handoffs going downhill, and it's the offense that doesn't have flow to it that would allow for this kind of movement. As a result, the shots he gets from these actions are more difficult than they need to be. There are times when he'll be able to spot up out top and look at the congestion he has to navigate before dunking it on the way down. But those looks are balanced out by sets like these, where he's forced to stand around his potential screener, staying in the same quadrant the entire possession before being forced to attack into a crowded lane without much time on the shot clock. One bright spot is when he can quickly attack off the catch early in the shot clock. Because with Giannis, teams have trouble matching up, and if they put a guard on him, he can use his strength. Plus, attacking early in this offense at least gives you a chance to find an open look from the perimeter, which you can knock down well. And there is evidence that his pick and pop game is maturing to the point where it's a legitimate threat. About a quarter of his buckets are assisted by Giannis, and he gets his share of spot-ups from penetration kicks from the Greek Freak. And here's an example of him playing center, a complete nightmare for the other team. Up next, let's examine his off-ball cutting. There are times when he doesn't just sit in the corner waiting for the ball to be reversed, and it's clear he needs to do this much more often. And if teams want to play small ball with Parker at the 4, they're going to have a lot of trouble stopping him. Again, here's another play that started out with Parker glued to the weak side corner, not being a threat at all. But with lots of good action happening elsewhere, it's hard to criticize this set too much, but it took a cutter ending up in the same corner to get Parker to move, and Deli does a nice job to find him for the finish. It is possible that all that standing around serves to put his defender to sleep, so that when the drive does come, he can find the opening in the middle as players like Brogdon are coming into their own. But is it too much to ask for that at the very least he stays visible on the screen for the entire possession? With Giannis commanding so much attention these days, baseline cuts to the hoop should be open all day. We need much more of this, please. I have no problem spacing Giannis and Parker on opposite ends of the floor, since it puts pressure on the defense to be aware of both of them separately. And as you can see, when the penetration collapses the defense, Parker knows how to find the gap, Giannis has no problem finding him, and people are going to get yammed on. Here's some flow once the ball goes his way, and I love the dribble handoff into rip-through to the hoop, attacking on the catch before the defense has time to react. Another rare action that we really should see more of is the Giannis-Jabari pick and roll. Watch how Thompson steps up to hedge against the danger of a Giannis drive, and it's a simple high-low for a cut to the hoop and strong finish. Nice. Where Parker excels the most is in transition, where he ranks in the 90th percentile. Of the 55 players with at least 75 transition possessions, Parker ranks second behind Jimmy Butler. One peek at him going coast to coast and it's clear why. He has a touch of Charles Barkley in him where he can grab the rebound and get going with the ball. Guards aren't going to be able to stop him once he gets a full head of steam down the court, and neither can a lot of forwards for that matter. I also like him out on the wing where he's got a really good handle and body control for someone his size and strength. He's not always in complete attack mode like this, which is too bad. I'd rather see him be too aggressive and have to dial it back than the other way around. He's particularly nasty as a trail man, and when the guards can get up the court fast, it's an almost guaranteed 2 points if they drop it to him at full speed. Which is why I think playing him some at the 5 would be a great idea. This swing pass is typically thrown to the center, and I love what he can do with it on the pass fake and drive to the rim. Parker gets his share of isolations, about a quarter of the Bucks total, but he has struggled to score in these situations. It's not from a lack of moves with the ball, since this is a gorgeous crossover step back, the kind we see Kyrie execute, and gets him a wide open look, but he just can't hit. And out of their normal high post attack, which tends to leave Parker standing around, he makes the best of it on the reversal, which normally calls for a handoff, but clever fake gets him to the block, and it's a lot of work, but he gets the job done. I really like this double pin down for him on the weak side, which forces a switch, and they get it back to him to exploit the mismatch. Again, this is what they get if they played Parker more at center. While the offense looks elsewhere, Parker bides his time in place until the ball gets swung back around. The corner pass triggers an automatic ball screen, and on the switch, they can get him an ISO face-up, and no smallish guard will be able to affect his mid-range. But all too often, they'll try to exploit the mismatch he has without any movement or proper spacing, and there aren't a lot of cracks for him to exploit down there. The pick and roll is an area that Parker excels at, but quite frankly, it's coaching criminality that he doesn't get more of them. It needs to be on Kidd to get the offense to find him with the ball and someone screening for him. The main offense the Bucks run is the high post split, which calls for the point guard to dribble to the wing and pass to the high post. The wrinkle the Bucks have added is when the weak side big comes over to set a ball screen. Almost impossible to stop, since if you're worried about the roll man, the ball handler scores. And if the screener's man doesn't step up, you get an easy 18-footer. It puts the most pressure on the screener's man to make the right decision and get into the proper position quickly. If not, look at these shots he's getting from it. Even when the timing and spacing is way off, it still gets him a great look. Unfortunately, these comprise a small percentage of his pick and rolls, and it's unclear to me why he isn't on that elbow a lot more each game. He ranks 4th in the team in elbow touches per game, and this should really go up. I do like this action as well. As the Bucks set up their normal high post split on the left side, they can skip it right into a step-up screen. No help, and a little guard trying to stop him in the paint. Here's the same play, just evolving a lot slower, and if the defender sinks too low to contain, he can rise up and hit the wide open three-pointer. One thing they've discovered is the value of screening for him with a guard. If the switch occurs, it's game over, man. He's too much of a beast down there for the little guys. And again, this is the center guarding him. A little pick and roll leaves the smaller player on him with their rim protector out of position. And I did notice this set once they run a weave across the top, similar to the Warriors weave, that culminates in a pick and roll for Parker. Just this type of movement and quick passing opens up the lane for him for an easy layup. The last thing on offense we'll look at is the post-up. Parker is above average in his efficiency down there, and I'd argue that it would improve if he increased the volume of his post-ups, which means increasing his overall aggressiveness. First off, I like to see him bring the ball up right into a post-up. Like we said, he's a beast, and if he can get to the block quickly, the help won't be there. And the quicker they can get it up court, the more likely they'll catch the defense in a mismatch. He doesn't have a ton of post moves, but with his big butt and big shoulders, he can still do some real damage. More pushing in the ball to force mismatches, and the Bucks waste little time exploiting the little guard on Parker down low. He's crafty enough to avoid the help and still get to the rim and finish with either hand. Again, a guard had to pick him up in transition, and no one can stop him when he's got to step to the hoop. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of subtlety to his postgame, just power moves with some nice touch on the finish. And you simply can't have a small ball power forward guard him down there. He's too big and strong. Defensively, there is a majority opinion that Parker needs to improve, and that is certainly the case. But it looks to me like his defensive rebounding is the one spot he can improve the most with the least amount of work. As you can see in these clips, all too often, he isn't aggressive enough either going after the ball or even attempting to box out. When he's on the court, the Bucks give up more offensive rebounds per 48 minutes compared to when he's off, and frankly, a guy with his size and athletic gifts should be getting way more than 6 rebounds a game. He should be averaging a double-double, and that would go a long way towards getting more stops and helping the team defense get into the top 10. If that happens, and the Bucks have top 10 rankings in both offense and defense, then it will only be a matter of time until their record reflects that. And it will also only be a matter of time until Jabari Parker is a serious All-Star Game candidate. They are already a team the Cavaliers have no desire to play in the playoff series, and if Jabari continues to improve, then no one will want to play them either.